Here we go. I think I finally got it to start working. As I was saying earlier, you think that I would have written everything down that I did wrong last time to make sure that I didn't do it again. But of course, I didn't have the good sense to do that. So I would have written everything down that I did wrong last. And see, just to prove it, I went ahead and just made sure I didn't mute the YouTube again. So I was hearing myself second right. Right now, I'm here with Rainer's here. I'm still waiting for the Grimtail brothers to show up, but that's really my fault because I kind of messed everything up again. So let's see. Okay, I'm going to have to send them an email really quick to get them the link. I should have remembered that from last time. So, all right, here's what I'm going to do. By the next time I do this, hopefully I'll get this down so I'll actually be able to start when I'm saying I'm going to start and not sound like some silly person who comes into this not having any idea what he's doing. But I guess I can't always expect miracles. So just give me one moment. And I'm going to copy the link and send it to the Grimtail brothers. Let's see. There we go. And see, here I am. I'll just narrate myself. That's about the best I can do. Hey, Gene and everybody. Yeah, again, sorry. I'll have to. I think after this point, after having to go through this 2 times, I hope that will make me realize to be more prepared with it. So. Anyhow, so are you still there?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that. Sorry about my rambling. It's what I do, though, I guess. And well, thank you. I have sound, yay. Yeah, I promise. I'm going to do this probably again next week around the same time too. So hopefully that time I'll end my streak. At the very worst, this has taken a lot less time than it took me the first time. I think we were here for like half an hour with me fiddling around with things, trying to figure it out. Fortunately, okay, so first I want to say that anyone who's listening, I was going to come out with a video today too, and then I started realizing I was putting too much work onto myself doing it, trying to record stories, do a stream. Then I'm also doing another video, and I try to like group some of my things together too much into one little ball, like last week when I did 2 videos within like 4 hours, when I really should have at least put them 2 days apart. So I will have something probably coming out sometime tomorrow. It's just been a really busy week for me. Not that I mind. I like keeping busy. So, and what have you been up to? Hold on for one moment here.
Sorry about that. I had to mute my microphone because my sister walked in and wanted to show her hair because she's getting ready for her high school senior prom.
Oh, wow. Well, that's very good of you to help out with that, but she's probably excited about that. I didn't go to mine. I don't know if you did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anyhow, I was just sitting here, as you know, rambling on about how one day finally I'll have perfected this, but we'll see. I'll try this again. I may have sent them the wrong link. No, I sent them the right link, so let me check to make sure they got it. What have you been up to lately?
I've just been working on writing projects for college and trying to keep up with future projects that I'm working
All right,
on
we're
right
in.
now.
Oh, there you guys are. Well, welcome to the Grimtrail Brothers too. Sorry again for the hiccup, but like I was saying, it's much faster than I did last time, so that's an
Yeah, it's
improvement.
okay. Oh,
Yeah.
we're all here now.
Yep. So, also want to let everyone know, I do have something I'm going. This 5:16 Central Time here. I'm only going to go until at the very latest 7 Central Time because there are some things that I have to do. So,
Same here.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that'd be the latest I'll be going. So.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
So how is the college writing going, Rainer?
It's going good. I'm actually working on a paper for art appreciation, and I decided to pick a piece that is essential to modern surrealism. It was a piece by the late artist Kay Sage, one of the mothers of modern American surrealism, and I'm covering her piece Tomorrow Is Never.
Oh, okay.
So
That's a little outside of my area, so I'd love to comment on it, but
Yeah, same here.
I don't think I have the knowledge to do that.
mm,
But when you do stuff, when you start doing, whenever you do things psychologically related, I'll definitely be able to offer input on that.
mhm.
Doing pretty good, Lex. How are you? And what about you? What about you guys? What have you been up to the past week, past couple weeks that if people haven't been to your channel, they might not know about?
For us, we actually we're working on stories now. We're working on a big collab, which you know about. So we're trying to get that all together.
So
Wait, did you hear that? Did you hear that?
yes,
Oh,
sorry.
yeah, but that's pretty much what's going on with us. We haven't really uploaded anything in a couple days because we've been working on the really big video we were talking about.
Oh, and looks like we've also been joined by Hitchhiker, I think. Have we?
Not sure.
I thought I saw him there for a second, but maybe left, or maybe it was my imagination, or maybe it was a
Your wild
ghost.
imagination.
Ooh. Yeah. Hey, at least I'm happy. Therapist. Oh wow. No, but yeah, no. At least I have an imagination, I guess, to make up for a lot of other things. The fact that
Exactly.
Hello.
hi.
All right, now we're good.
Now
There we go. Now
all of us are in
now
fit.
okay. All of us. So it wasn't my imagination, and it wasn't a ghost. So
No.
so
Back from
have
the
you
dead.
been? Have you been doing?
How have I been doing? I've been
Yeah.
all right.
It's been a while since I've really talked to you. So
I've just kind of laid low for a while.
I did notice that. Have you met the Grimchill brothers yet?
No, I don't believe I have. Is that
Okay.
Rainer?
Well,
It
Oh
is.
shit! Holy shit! I haven't seen Rainer in forever.
it's great to know you all know each other.
Definitely.
Well,
We just joined the community like 2 months ago.
No,
So
I've
we're trying to
been
get known.
I've been harassing these two for like a while.
I actually
Yeah.
had Killer Orange Cat through Hitchhiker.
yep, it was actually in a stream, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it was.
After several times of asking me to do it, I finally got the nerve and said, "Okay." I don't know.
Look at you.
Oh,
You're streaming now. You're like, yeah.
yeah, but it took a lot of convincing to get me to do it. And I'm obviously not very good at it either. This is the second one I've done in the past couple weeks, and I forgot how to do it both times. So
Yeah, the other one lasted like 3.5 hours.
it was pretty long, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a long one. That one was really long.
That's the thing about these streams. They last.
They can go on forever.
Ever.
Oh,
Yeah, took me forever to find. Yeah, it took me forever to finally decide to do it, and then when we did it, it's like, I don't want to quit now.
Once you go live, you don't go back.
Yep. Once you go live, you don't go back.
Yep, that's how it works.
So how's everybody's night going, or day?
Oh, it's going good.
Mine's relatively new, as I kind of sometimes, most of the time, sleep backwards. So I've been awake really only for a couple of hours at this point.
Oh, that's right. You work the night shift, don't you? That's the thing about nights.
Well, I don't know. I guess it kind of inspires me. So a lot of times, if I wake up in the morning, I'm just sort of like, just something about it has never worked for me.
Yeah, we get most of our inspiration at night too.
Yeah.
Especially when all our power went out, the whole town. That was fun.
Oh, in this town, we've had a couple good blackouts. It's like when they're blackouts, they're like really blackouts. I was used to living in areas like Chicago where you get one and it's not really that bad. There's still a whole lot of other light places. But when you do it here, it's completely dark.
Oh, yeah. Pitch black.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. We couldn't even find our phones to put lights on.
No, but I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, and there's Mr. Paranormal Ghost Stories here, Phantom of Darkness. I had to wanted to give him. I had to be slightly mean about that. So I'll tease him. I'll tease him here about it too, because I'm sure he'll.
Oh, there's Swamp. I see Swamp. What's up, Swamp? There's Phantom. What's up, Phantom?
Like a few narrators in here.
So here I'm waiting for him to reply, and he's not in the room. I'm not in the stream.
The chat.
The chat, yeah. See how flustered I get when I do things like this.
See, I don't think you could. No, I could never manage to convince him to join a stream. I don't think I ever got him into a stream. One day it'll happen.
I don't think I've ever.
Keep trying.
I don't think I've ever asked anybody directly. I just put it out there and I'm like, if you want to, go ahead. Do some urban legends. Actually, I'm going to. I've been wanting for like a longest time. Anybody who really pays attention to what I say is to do a video with Elfin Lycoda before, because he was, again, him with King Spook were the two people that really inspired me to do this. And I've worked with King Spook before. I've always wanted to work with Elfin Lycoda, but he hasn't really done a whole lot of videos. And he sent me a copy of urban legend that he had narrated. So I'm going to narrate an urban legend with it and put that up probably within the next day or two. So I will be having an urban legend, but I want to find something to try to stick with what I do and not have everything on have things on my channel, common stories that you'd always get everywhere else. So I've been looking for something that's not really that well known.
Well, you got some drunk stories. I'm sure everybody would love to hear that.
Oh yeah.
I do. Stories. I do have drunk stories, but I don't know. I don't really know if I want to share too many of them.
Too risque?
I don't know. It's
too risky.
My drunk stories may put me in a very bad light because when I tend to do stuff, I don't do it half-assed. So that includes getting drunk. So.
Oh, so when you that's dedication right there. When you're going in, you go all in.
Oh yeah. So. I remember when I started out in community college and I transferred I went to undergrad at Northern Illinois University, which I guess is sort of known for being a bit of a party school. And it was on the very first night there in the dormitory. I'm sitting there and watching the ambulances come to the dorms at least 4 or 5 times, and that just became like a regular thing. And it's like, oh, well. And
alcohol poisoning?
Oh, lots of alcohol poisoning at that school. So
See, that's when you got to pace yourself. You do stuff like that, you really have to pace yourself.
I mean, I could tell one drunk story, but it doesn't make me look as bad because it wasn't completely my fault.
Just one?
Just one. I'll tell one. Yeah. Well, no, it's just one that I'll tell, that I'll admit to. But that's all, again, because it's not completely my fault. And
I'll take that.
So you give us you'll give us the good ones, like as soon as the stream ends. Like I'm gonna drag them out of you if I have to.
Yeah. You can try. No, this one I guarantee you. Unless I've told this story before, I'm pretty sure you haven't heard one like it from anybody else. I have OCD, as a lot of people may know, and I do take medication for it. And I'm also an insomniac, but my insomnia is kind of weird. It's not like I have trouble going to sleep. It's I wake up every like 10 minutes.
Wow.
When I was in school, at the beginning of this, I was taking Ambien for it, and I was having problems sleeping. I didn't like taking Ambien all the time because if anyone's had it, it really messes with you. And I mean, I've had some really bizarre Ambien stories, but I had to get up for class. I thought if I took the Ambien, I wouldn't get up. And then finally, I just decided to skip the class. So probably about an hour before class, I took the Ambien and laid down. Next thing I knew, I woke up in my bed, everything was fine. Well, I only had this class once a week. I go back the following week, and I'm standing out waiting for class, and the professor comes along and tells me that I can't come into the class, and I'm like, why? And she says, you have to go to judicial affairs. I'm like, what? And she won't even tell me why. She's like, I'm not talking to you. And it's like, what the hell's going on? And so I go, and apparently what happened was I was sleepwalking on the Ambien. So, and I completely have no memory of any of this, that I got up, walked down to the liquor store, grabbed a bottle of vanilla vodka, took it to my class, and was drinking it in the middle of the class in front of everybody. Apparently after class, went back to bed and went back to sleep. Now, I mean, anybody who knows me knew that if I was any way in charge of my faculties, this would not happen. But again, the Ambien, I stopped taking it after that. But one thing to know is that I could have gotten in a lot of trouble for that, obviously. Fortunately, my psychiatrist was like, no. I have him on these medications. You can't really do anything. And they didn't. Basically, the most they were able to do was make me apologize to the teacher. And actually, to tell you the truth, once the class was over, I did retract the apology. Because she was a bitch. And if it wasn't for the fact that I was just trying to get the easiest resolution, I would not have even considered apologizing to her, because it was explained in detail that this wasn't my fault, that it was the medication doing it and stuff. And if you could just go anywhere and read about the stuff that Ambien does. I didn't accept that. I don't accept that. So I wouldn't apologize to you anyway, Phantom of Darkness. If I did have to apologize to you, there'd be way too many things to apologize for, and I just can't get that caught up. So sorry, I had to segue to his comment there. But yeah, so that's what I would consider to be my craziest drunk story. And you probably won't hear something quite like that from other people too often.
I'm gonna be sitting here picking your brain after this is over.
The stories we like.
Those are the juicy ones.
Yeah, where's the juicy ones?
Oh, the funny thing is, I sort of considered that the most embarrassing, but the least embarrassing at the same time. So it's neutral. Yeah, it's kind of just there because it's just imagining it, because I don't remember it, but just putting it in my head and running it through my head what must have happened just to this day gives me the shudders. But then I'm always can cap it with. Well, yeah, but I was on Ambien. I don't remember it, and I didn't do it deliberately. So,
I mean, it's not like you were like you woke up naked in somebody's yard or something, did you? Like all your other excursions.
Ambien probably like causes memory loss too.
oh, the Ambien, yeah.
That's-
I have never woken up
Mainly
naked
people
in
will
somebody's
black
yard. What's that? Couldn't hear you.
No, I
there.
say Ambien makes people black out. Ambien makes
Oh, yeah.
people black out.
Oh, yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah, I
That's
have.
some strong, heavy-duty medication. It's a good thing you weren't operating machinery. That
I
wouldn't be
actually,
going too well.
I'm very fortunate because I did have a car, so
No accidents
maybe
that we know of, right?
yeah. Yeah, last thing I would have need to done was get in the car and end up being somewhere. I've read stories about people who've had those experiences and or woke up in jail too. I mean,
Oh yeah, that would have been fun. Woken up with like 2 DUIs or something.
Yeah.
you're like,
You would
you know,
remember that.
you
too.
have no idea. Like, why am I here? Why am I here? What's going on?
What did I do?
No, that would have. What's that? But no, I've never
No, I
woken
was
up
saying,
naked in
well-
somebody's yard, but you know,
Well, that's a good thing, huh?
yeah,
That'd be kind of embarrassing.
a little bit. A little
I'm sure
bit.
people have, though.
Oh yeah. No,
I would-
I've actually. Go
Oh
ahead.
no, I know of them. I know of people doing it. I mean,
It's never happened to
I
you.
know. Yeah, it happened to me.
Yeah,
Oh, there it goes.
I kind of figured that.
Yeah,
What-
I'm that kind of person.
Mm.
Hitchhiker, do you drink a lot?
These days, no.
No.
I've calmed down on that one. When I first came around here, oh, it was a little bit wild. Still kind of wild.
Yeah.
I think I've kind of decided to calm down for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, I stopped
Mhm.
drinking like 8 years ago.
That's been a while.
Mm. I kind of did the cliche. I did it kind of a lot when I was in college, but actually, for a while there, I thought I had developed a problem with it. But then one day, it was just everyone's like, "Oh, you just gotta stop. You just gotta stop. And once you stop, you can never drink again." And so I was drinking really heavily for a while. I stopped suddenly, and now can drink casually and not get cravings for it. So whoever told me that was definitely very wrong.
Yeah.
Well, you can always go to the
Yes, fam.
you can always go to the alternative. You can start smoking pot.
Yeah, it's legal where we are.
Oh,
You just be like, when you're just don't do it during your therapy sessions or whatever, and just after that, light up and smoke you a doobie.
yeah.
Have you ever heard about
Go ahead.
therapists giving their patients acid? Or like like acid?
Not legally, but I have heard people believing that would be helpful in certain
I
ways.
guess they're trying to pass a law for it.
And they have pill mills too.
No, I hadn't heard about that.
I
If you
mean,
look it up online, they were signing like petitions to try to get it legal, I guess.
like legally, I've never heard of it. I mean, like some under under the radar type stuff. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
You gotta be careful what you believe on the internet.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, don't believe anything on the internet. Full of lies.
Oh Lord, it sort of has purported to give you a lot more information, but how much of it's real? I don't know.
You don't know.
The bizarre things that I've come across people claiming or saying they've done, it's just sometimes it's like, oh, that's why I became a skeptic. The internet.
Ooh. That'll do it.
Yeah.
Yep, pretty much.
And then pretty much I think really was what did it, because before then It's funny thing because my brother is the exact opposite. He is like conspiracy. Everything is conspiracy theory. Conspiracy theory. Of course, he'll be like my sister was saying earlier. It's not a conspiracy theory. No, it's a conspiracy theory. And there was.
I agree.
He was.
I don't.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I think certain things are in the realm of conspiracy, but like every knick-knack and whatever is not a conspiracy, you know?
Every knick-knack paddywhack.
I mean, there's certain things that you can look at and you can go like, okay, that's a little, it's a little strange. Like the death of Kurt Cobain, like there's like some unusual circumstances behind that. Like Joe Blow getting hit by a car, that's not a conspiracy. There wasn't some like MK Ultra something, dude got hit by a car,
What about Robin Williams?
Him, I think he was just depressed. I mean, it happens. I mean, how many people? I mean, there's like hundreds of thousands of people that kill themselves like every day.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, and they
don't
thought
get why you would do it.
Well, if he was bipolar, which a lot of people think that he was, and he definitely exhibited symptoms of, if you really look into people who are bipolar 1 and how severely depressed they get, it's not a surprise. It's it's. I've had people tell me that they think that obsessive compulsive disorder, which is very difficult to live with, is the most difficult psychiatric disorder to live with. But from what I've seen, it seems to be bipolar 1 because, of course, your manic phases are usually good, but the depression, it's scary. And people talk about movies or things that scare me, but I've seen people in a depressive state, bipolar 1 people, and this is some of the scariest things I've ever seen before. How bad it is.
I mean, that's the thing about like the mind is just this weird kind of thing. I mean, just it's amazing what the mind can do. I mean, and we haven't even really scratched the surface of it, and that's the scary part about it.
Really, yeah. And the world is like a really challenging place to live in too, so it could be harder for others.
What was I saying yesterday? I remember who I was talking to, but I was talking about. Oh, I think it was Nordic Vampire. I was talking to, and he was listening to this song, but it was basically started talking about existence, and so I decided that none of us really exist. We're just a universe's way of consoling itself about its non-existence. So, and no, that's not profound. I was just being stupid.
Well, I mean, do you believe in life after death? I mean, that's what I'm hearing. I mean, even if you don't believe, like, not even getting into the heaven and hell aspect. I mean, do you believe that humans have energy?
Yeah.
Can't be destroyed or created.
So I mean, even taking away the whole heaven and hell aspect, even if there's a heaven or if there's a hell, that energy has to go somewhere. I mean, that's my whole deal on it. I mean, it can't just disappear. It has to go somewhere.
I think it stays in like a limbo, so it goes nowhere. It just stays in pretty much one spot, or it travels. I have no idea. It's too complex for me.
Why can't people prove it? Like, why can't scientists prove it?
They did prove it. They proved that energy does exist.
Yeah, but where does it go?
Nowhere. I don't think it goes anywhere.
That's the things that you have to think about.
Imagine if it stayed trapped inside your body.
Like, when you are born, how can you imagine not being there anymore, even when you pass away? Like, can you imagine yourself just going, like, completely off the grid?
Kind of like you're dreaming, but not having a dream.
Like, what happens? It's just a mind blower.
Oh, I consider that quite often. I don't know. I go kind of back and forth. It's I can't really say what my feelings are about it. It's.
What about reincarnation?
I tend to.
I don't know. That would, for me, that would kind of like. That would suck if you could remember it. But I mean, if you just you die and then you come back, I mean, then you have no knowledge of it. But just,
you know how people have like deja vu, and they say like, "Oh, that was from my past life or from a dream that you had."
Unless
you feel like you experienced that before.
I want to say
Brandon,
this.
what's your input on it?
I want to say this much. If we come back or are reincarnated on Earth and we do not have our memories wiped, I'm going to kill myself. And if I end up going to heaven or hell, I can relive a life over and over and over again, endlessly. I want to eventually be able to be laid to rest, because there's going to come a time where we no longer feel involved in what everyone else is doing, and they know us for centuries, yet eventually someone is going to forget us. And
exactly.
And I don't believe that we should have a memory that lasts for eternity. They're not going to care about us when we reach that future, and we're not going to care laid to rest when I die. And I want to be laid to rest as is.
Well, I mean, I think it's Buddhism, isn't it? Like Buddhism, like you reincarnate until you become like one or something like that, or you find like perfect.
Closer to Hinduism, which is sort of Hinduism, where you have to go through a cycle of reincarnations to eventually become joined back up with, I believe it's the Brahma, the one sort of like essence, what you might even consider God, but it's like we're all sort of see, because I sort of prescribe to that. That's sort of this subscribe to that. Sort of what I've been on for the past like few years, that we're all part of one sort of energy. And well, yes, I know Buddhism is the same, but the big difference between Hinduism and Buddhism is that in Hinduism you have to go through the cycles to reach enlightenment, if you want to call it that, or to become one again. But in Buddhism, you are able to become enlightened without doing that. You still will reincarnate, but you can reach the enlightenment. At least in my comparative religion classes, that's what we talked about. So it's been a while, but yeah, Hinduism doesn't allow you to reach that state in a single lifetime. In Buddhism, you're supposed to be able to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I sort of prescribe to that we're all sort of part of the same energy, and so yeah, I would say that our consciousness goes on, but it made me to a different person or a different being. But since you're really all still part of the same thing, that's why you wouldn't have a memory of anything beforehand, because it's all sort of like mixed up together. Wow.
Like different chapters.
Whichever God is in charge of that, I thank them for that, because I would kill myself if I had to relive so many different memories. Things that you want to forget and want to let die with you.
I can tell you right now, if I had to come back and I remembered everything that I did, I'd be like, yep, forget this. I would check out on that one.
Same here. Same here.
Yeah.
It's not a joke. Like,
yeah, the other thing I've been thinking about a lot is the cyclical universe. So that's where I keep on telling myself, if we live in a cyclical universe where this just happens over and over again for eternity, I better do all the things, make sure that I do all the things that I want to do. So when I live this life a trillion times over again, that it's nice.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
but do you think there's any other living planets, like any other human life out there in the universe somewhere? Because we can only make it so far, but the galaxy is phenomenally big. Like, it's endless. Is it really that we're the only planet that actually has life on it?
I would find
what
that
if there's another sun out there, like millions of miles away? Like, what if there's another setup like our planets?
I would say just mathematically, it seems quite unlikely that there's, if I'm not mistaken, there's in the known universe, there's 300 sectillion stars, which is a number that is so huge. if I start thinking about it, I'll, I think I mentioned this on Twitter. I've been doing this thing with large numbers lately, uh, it's not really good to think about. But with that huge of a universe, that many stars, I think it would be very, very unlikely. I would actually think the universe is probably teeming with life.
Yeah,
compared to what we think. Yeah,
I have the same opinion.
There's probably all sorts of stuff out there that we're not aware of. It's just we haven't come across it yet,
Yeah, in this world too. There's a whole bunch of stuff in this world that no one has discovered yet.
Well, I mean, like in the oceans and stuff like that. I mean, that's like we haven't even really scratched the surface on that either. We're still finding things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like every
time
to the bottom of the Pacific Ocean.
I'm not entirely
the
sure.
Way bottom.
Wait,
when the gear like explode, I feel like they'd be like pressured in, like all their bones would break if they went too far down into the water because of the depth of the water and the pressure.
Oh, well, you got to go very slowly. I mean, because if you talk about the deepest part of the ocean, around the trench, 3 people have gone there. One of them, interesting enough, being James Cameron. I just always found that to be one of the strangest stories. But yeah, the Mariana Trench, the deepest part of the ocean, 3 people have gone there, but they had to go like slowly, so they just kind of like to get used to the pressure. But I couldn't imagine wanting to do that. But then again, I'm scared of the depth of the water. So
yeah, the ocean scares me too.
No, my dad was in the Navy, and I remember being on the docks with those ships, and I mean, there were ships. I mean, so close to the dock, you could practically reach out and put your hand on them. So then I started thinking about if they're that close and right here, then how deep is this water right in this dock next to me? And that's really one of my first fears.
Yeah, see, I'm really not big on going in water and stuff like that. I mean, I might go on a boat and stuff like that, but my biggest thing would be going on said boat and then said boat like sinking in said ocean and then being in said ocean for like, just being one of those guys floating for like 65 days,
That would be crazy.
That would get me.
Float to an island or something.
Fish have sex in it. Yeah, I guess they do.
Well, I'd turn into Scooby-Doo real quick. As soon as I saw a shark coming by, I'd be running.
Yeah, running on top of the water. I'm out of here, man.
No, but I ain't big on water, and everybody's like, where I live, a bunch of people are like, oh, you want to go in the woods? No.
Absolutely not.
I want to live on a beachfront property, though.
They're like, oh, you don't want to go camping? No, I see how this works out. Everybody thinks they can go camping, and we get lost in the fucking woods. I'm not going.
Attacked by bears.
I'm not scared about getting lost in the woods. I just don't like being away from technology. So,
yeah.
See, I could get away from technology. My biggest thing is getting lost in the woods or like having one of those deals. There's like, was it like 4 of us in here? Yeah, 4 of us, like, let's say all of us went camping. 4 of us go in. It'd probably be like 3 of us or 2 of us come back out because the rest of us got lost.
Yeah. That's a big possibility.
I make mental maps of wherever I'm going. I'll try and make sure I don't lose you.
Leave it up to Rainer.
Yeah, I couldn't do that, so I'd have to count on you for that.
I like leaving markers wherever I go in like the wilderness. Like I'll scratch a tree with a knife or something just to mark to mark the territory, and I can say, "Oh, there's an X here. Oh, there's a Y here. We go this way. We'll head back towards the X, and then to the letter before it, and so on."
You're thinking like a survivor.
I'd like to think that I've watched enough horror movies that every time I watch one and something happens, I think, if they just didn't put themselves in that situation, I think I've watched enough of them that I can't ever do anything for the rest of my life. Because no matter what I do, it puts myself in one of those situations. Yeah, so fights too.
I just okay. So we couldn't get you. So I take it we couldn't get you to go like base jumping or like skydiving or something. Huh?
The funny thing is, I would actually. As weird as it sounds, you might be able to convince me to go skydiving, but only because I know that it would scare the crap out of me, and that I don't. Sometimes the things that I'm scared of, I like to confront them because I like to feel the fear, because I don't get scared of a lot of, like, you know, I can't. I don't listen to. I may listen to somebody's stories on here on the channels and like the stories, but don't get scared. I don't get scared. I'm so desensitized to it now. I can't really remember the last time a movie scared me. So whenever I can actually get scared, I kind of like it. So I might actually want to do it for that reason.
Like, is that your? No, that's my dog.
Oh, dog barking, or
yeah, that's my dog in the back. They must be hearing it.
Oh,
oh yeah.
No, if our dog was barking, I guess I'd be, Buffy, stop it. Buffy, stop it.
You
quiet, Buffy.
It's like we would have to report PETA.
Nah, but Buffy lives a nice, non-abusive life. She's very happy. And Buffy's a collie. What is yours?
Shepherd, German Shepherd.
Oh,
Nice. I've been trying to find one. I can't find one anywhere. They're expensive too.
Oh yeah, they cost an arm and a leg.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What are they, like $2,000 for a purebred?
Yeah, I want to say for a purebred,
Yeah,
it's roughly around that. I got mine for 500.
Did you?
Mm.
Oh wow.
Like,
that's a really good deal.
Buffy was free.
Oh, nice.
Wait, was she free?
Your
Wait, my sister's in the room. Evil black cat. She's in the room. I think Buffy was for free. Somebody was, if I'm not mistaken, someone showed collies. Was either selling her or giving her away. But if you got to know Buffy, I guess you might understand why they were giving her away, because she's very high maintenance. She's very
hyper.
She's like the most no, it wasn't. She's not hyper. She's paranoid.
Oh.
Yeah, she's very, 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 very I've only known one dog ever that I've seen that's more paranoid than her, and that's one that we got when I was like 13, and we got it, and it just hid behind our couch for the entire time we had it, and we eventually gave it away. But Buffy's very paranoid, and so what we assume is we kind of assume that, yeah, the people who had her before us abused her, especially because when we first had her, she didn't like any men that were standing up. She would go up to women, but not men.
Why
she would go to men if they would sit.
I'm always scared of.
Because they're dominant.
I don't know. I've known some unfortunately say some women who could be quite abusive as well, but I guess it's just the other ones you hear about. I was I mean, for example, this is like I guess it's a guy and a girl, because it's one of my first cousins and his wife or his girlfriend. I was just looking maybe about a year ago on the news, and all of a sudden here's my cousin and his wife, girlfriend, whatever, their mugshots on the news because they went to jail for keeping their kid, their little baby kid, locked in a closet because they didn't want to take care of it.
What the
and
fuck?
it was just like, I'm
That's
not kidding.
funny.
I'm just no one told me about it. It's just all of a sudden was out there, but they both did it. They didn't want to take care of it, so that's to care of the child. So locked in a closet. I please don't get offended that I'm referred to the child. I don't know if it was male or female because I don't really speak to a lot of my family anymore. So it's too tedious.
Wow, that is some crazy shit.
Yeah. I mean, I always tell people, I have a lot of people in my family who have had kids for the sake of wanting something to do, and that irritates me to no end. So I guess my sister, it's a boy, his name is Jackson. the boy that got locked in the closet and stuff. But yeah, it's I've never got that, you know. Oh, so I guess my other cousin adopted the baby, I guess. So evil black cat saying it in the room. I just didn't really want to know anything else, and I tried not to get involved. The last time I had posted a meme that was, I guess, people took it as me being derogatory, as derogatory towards the Confederate flag, and my family is all like, "Oh, we're so Southern," which is funny because they're not, but they like to think they are. So a lot of them got mad at me, and it's like, well, okay, number one, I thought it was a funny meme, so I moved it on. I'm not. I don't take political stances online. I think anybody who knows me should know that. It's too dividing, you know. It's why people are like, well, who did you vote for? I'm not going to tell you that, because like Johnny Carson would never tell people who he voted for, because he's like, why would I alienate half of my audience?
Yeah.
So they got mad at me for posting this meme that I thought was funny, because they thought that I was being derogatory against their fake Southernness. So I'm just like, you know, guys,
they're fake Southern. What?
My family, most of my relatives like to think, oh, Southern pride, but they're not. They don't even live. They basically live in the Midwest, you know. So it's like no, you guys are not from the South. Stop it. Stop. So yeah, it was a funny meme. I'm not going to say what it was, but I did it because I thought it was funny, not because I'm taking a political stance. Because don't ask me what I feel about it, because I'm not going to say it, because again, I'll end up upsetting somebody. And as a narrator of horror stories, I want to scare people, not upset them. So
you like enjoy the simple things in life, like.
I'm sorry?
Sorry. On the note of upsetting, I'm sorry to upset you, but I do actually have to get going.
Oh, okay. Well, no, I'm glad that you were able to stop in for a while.
Yeah.
So
at least we got you for like 20 minutes, half hour.
And of course, you're welcome to come back any other time I do it, because I'm going to try to do this more regularly. So always like having you.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Killer Orange Cat.
Everyone say goodbye to Rainer.
All right, Rainer. Have a good one, man.
You all have a good one.
Yep.
Stay sexy.
Talk to you later. There you go. So, and see, but yeah, there we go. I think maybe after doing this a few times, maybe I'll hopefully eventually seem a little less awkward.
Yeah, the first couple of times you do this, you're a little awkward, and then after that, you're just kind of like, whatever.
Yeah.
You get used to it.
It's like anything else. You just kind of rock and roll with it.
You know, I got to say this before I forget it. I don't remember if you retweeted this or if you liked it, but it was or responded to it, but it was a picture that Phantom of Darkness posted of himself. I think he was eating a piece of pizza, and because I saw that your response to it on Twitter, my brain told me, even though I know what Phantom of Darkness looks like because he's posted several pictures, that was you. And for about 5 minutes, I'm like, no, there's no way. He looks too much like Phantom of Darkness. And I'm like, oh, you idiot.
He's like that bastard lied to me.
Yeah. So I had to mention that, because it was just like, for a second there, with your voice, and I always liked your voice. You have such a strong voice.
Manly voice.
Yeah. And then trying to see your voice come out of Phantom of Darkness, that's an interesting mental picture. And yes, Carrie, Phantom of Darkness is really cute, and that's why I acknowledge him continuously as the fairy princess that he is, you know, because fairy princesses are very cute. It's sort of their job to be cute.
I think the next time you do a stream, Killer Edge Cat, you need to have a drunk stream. You need to get your ass shit faced fucking drunk.
Lord.
Hey,
Maybe
Killer
I'll.
Edge Cat.
Yes,
Does drinking help your OCD or make it worse, or is it neutral?
it helps for a couple hours.
Probably makes it worse when it goes down a little bit.
I think maybe one of the good thing that came out of how much I used to drink is that I don't really get hungover when I do drink anymore.
Yeah.
I'll just flirt with everyone. Oh God. Yeah, I do turn into I do have a tendency to turn into a bit of a skank.
Oh, he'll hit on.
Cat on the prowl.
Yeah.
He'll hit on everybody. The men, the women, everybody.
Here's a question I have to answer in the room. Okay, I'm going to try to pronounce this. The room keeps moving because this actually is important. Shiftdale V2. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Have you come across any other scary wrestling stories? I have 3 stories. That's my next video, actually. From independent professional wrestlers, because I know a lot of them. Now,
that's got to be some. That's got to be some really interesting stories. Like, did he kind of like?
Scott, yes, that's easier. Yeah, well, it's not most of it takes place like in a wrestling environment, but the 3 guys are wrestlers. And they talk a little bit about the life and style and things like that. So I wanted to answer that question because that will be my next video. For anyone who likes wrestling, this is WrestleMania weekend, so I thought it would be like the perfect time to put out something like that. So it'll probably be up in the morning, tomorrow afternoon, sometime around then. So just wanted to get that out there. So sorry I had to interrupt the fun drunk talk.
No, it's okay.
Nah, that's all right. No, I was just saying that's got to be like some interesting story because those guys are on the road all the time. They deal with like cast of characters. They see crazy shit. So I mean, that's got to be like.
Well, there are some people who take it. I've been a pro wrestling fan my entire life and pretty big fan, but there are some people, and you go to a show, they take it so freaking serious. I mean, especially the small indie shows. I'll see guys. I used to go to this place, Brew City Wrestling, outside of Milwaukee, and there was this guy. He would like in the front row always get up in the face of the wrestlers and stuff. And I thought for the longest time that he was a plant, to get the crowd active. Found out no, he wasn't. He actually was so upset over one of the quote unquote bad guys that they actually got into a fight outside of the. It was a bowling alley actually that the matches were had in, and they actually got into a fight. And of course, the fan got his ass kicked. But
I mean, might give away too much of your age, but were you old enough to watch the AWA or go see an AWA show?
No.
Okay.
Not go to them, but I have seen plenty of them online. Yeah, I've seen them online, and I've watched a lot on the internet. But no, I'm not old enough to have seen that. No. And yes, the Chris Benoit story is definitely probably the scariest wrestling story in existence.
They were supposed to make a movie about that. It's called Crossface, but I don't know if that movie is ever going to get made.
I would prefer that they didn't. It
starts out like because I watched some stuff and it I don't know. It'd probably start out like him. Oh, hey, I want to be a wrestler. I mean, we all know how it ends. That would be the mother right there.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, as I said, it's again, it kind of gets to me because it's also very divisive. Chris Benoit was evil, murderer. Then you get an autopsy and you see that his brain was basically pudding. And I don't take a stand one way or the other. It's why I said I prefer not to see it. But not only that, it's because I don't really like movies a lot of times that portray a real murder. And maybe that's because I had my grandmother's brother, as many people know, I've mentioned before, was one of the people that was murdered by Aileen Wuornos. So the whole serial killer thing is real, or not that he was a serial killer, but the whole killer thing is like really close. And
Yeah.
it bothers me. It bothers me the most when people make disgusting horror movies about real serial killers, because like take into consideration the family of those people that got killed. So I don't know. It
Do you
kind
think
of
they
gets
get
to me.
permission from the family?
They tried to get permission from them with the movie. If you're familiar, they made the movie Monster. But they
Yeah, I
were
know.
my family threatened to sue them if they portrayed him in the movie, so they
Oh,
didn't
wow.
portray him in the movie. All they showed was a truck driver, and she was hitchhiking, and the truck stopped and picked her up, and that was supposed to represent my uncle. But no, my family threatened, I think rightfully, to sue him if they made him appear in the movie. So,
Yeah.
and
Well, that's
again,
understandable. 100%.
yeah. So that's what gets me. It's you can make movies about fake serial killers killing just about everybody in the world, but the moment you put a real person's name on it, like Geen, or even though he wasn't a serial killer, it always bothers me how people look at Ed Gein as being this. I've heard people think that he killed up to 500 people. It's like he killed
No, it
two.
wasn't.
He
Yeah, it was
killed two.
like
He was the grave robber. Right. Go
yeah,
ahead.
and he spent like the rest of his life in like what a sane asylum, didn't he?
Oh yeah, he was found not guilty by reason of insanity. One of the few times that's happened, and they always said that in the psychiatric hospital that they always said he was like a model, like patient, polite, nice. But then again, like I said, he was really messed up. So, but yeah, this is agreed. But yeah, the people get all these weird ideas about them because all these murderers are based off him. So people sort of start ascribing these things off the movies to these things that never happened. So, but sorry, go ahead.
No, you got it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I had a hard time getting that one out.
No, well, I was gonna say like I don't think no, they did make a movie, The Iceman.
The Iceman. I'm not sure
I
I've
think
seen that.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. Sounds familiar though.
It's like you can look it up on YouTube. It's like The Iceman Confessions or whatever it is. I think they made a movie about him, but he was a ruthless bastard.
What did he do?
He was a hitman, and I think one story he told, if I remember correctly, it's been so many years since I've seen the documentary, but he told one guy, he said, "Oh, I'm gonna give you about 15 minutes to pray to God, and if God comes down and strikes me down or whatever, then you can live." So the guy sat there for about 15 minutes and he prayed, and I think he stabbed him in the head with like a screwdriver or something like that.
Ace pick?
Yeah.
Wow. That is pretty ruthless.
And that guy was
Give him hope.
on some different shit.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't.
That would be the worst, giving someone hope and then just killing them anyway.
Oh, when did this person
he died in prison. Just look up like the Iceman Confessions on YouTube. I mean, you can watch it. Because they did a interview with him in like the 90s, I think mid 90s, or maybe early 2000s.
I know who you're talking about now.
I think
that was the guy. Go ahead. Go ahead.
You can go.
No, you go. I insist.
I was gonna say, I think the most brutal serial killer movie I've ever seen was the Snowtown Murders. That was bad. It used to be on Netflix too.
And that was
Have you ever
about
heard of that?
I don't think so. That was about a real one too.
Yeah, it's brutal, man. I mean, I don't suggest watching it because it's pretty graphic.
Yeah, the movie is pretty graphic itself.
It's like a movie documentary, but it's I can't even explain it. You'd have to see it for yourself.
No, it's, um, as I think I mentioned this in the previous stream, I've told people before. I think one of the reasons I'm so sensitive to this is that it was originally that was sort of what I wanted to do with my life. I was when I went to college, I was going to try to be a profiler for the FBI. That was sort of my dream. And that's why I drank so much in college, because I used to watch all these interviews, and I actually had seen some materials that really aren't available to everybody. And it took a lot of alcohol to deal with that. And that's when I realized I need to pursue a new line of interest. But so I know most of them. I do remember the Iceman thing just because what struck in my head was, if I'm not mistaken, he was the one who claimed to know what happened to Jimmy Hoffa.
I think so, but I mean, they've had so many people, ex-mobsters, come out and say, "I did it. All right, me and Tony from the Bronx, we chopped him up, and he's in stadium." I mean, with the Hoffa murders, I don't think anybody's ever really going to know whatever happened to Hoffa.
No, yeah.
There's like 3 people that day, because he was supposed to meet somebody, two mob bosses, him and the 2 guys he was supposed to meet. I think those are probably the only 3 people that probably know what happened to him.
What really got me is I saw that movie,
and I don't think when he went there, I don't think he saw it coming anyway. So
I remember watching the Jack Nicholson movie about him, and thought, wow, this is interesting. And then I realized that so much of it was fictionalized. Like Danny DeVito's character in the movie didn't even exist in real life. It was a completely made up character. The specific mob boss that was sort of like one of the other main characters that he had dealings with throughout was also a fictional character meant to represent a possible real person. And I realized that so much of the movie was fiction. It's like, okay, well, wow. It's like I can never watch this again. Which is
supposed to be based off a true story.
Yeah, but it's mostly just so many. A lot of movies do that. They'll make composite characters, but if you watch a movie, you get invested in the character. It's like, hey, this character's interesting. And you find out they never existed. It's kind of a big letdown.
They always over exaggerate it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think the one part of that movie that I liked was like with the Hoffa movie. It was like when Hoffa and Kennedy were going at each other, because they really did hate each other. Bobby and Jimmy. If you've seen some of the things on YouTube, they fucking hated each other.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they actually did portray that pretty good in the movies.
Darkness said it perfectly.
Oh yeah. Hollywood tends to sensationalize everything and fabricate things. Yep.
Yeah. Got that on point.
But that they were pretty on point on, because they hated each other. I've seen interviews and stuff like that. I was like, Jesus Christ, dude.
I had to do a segue to say goodbye to Carrie Temporary, who's leaving. So it's always very good to have her around. She's one of the best people in the horror community.
Yeah.
Yes, she's an awesome moderator.
Mm-hmm.
Bye, Carrie.
Thanks for being here for a while. Yeah. Pretty efficient way to dispose of a body.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
That's something that in horror movies does get me, when somebody dismembers and disposes of a body. That does mess with my head a little bit, because you start thinking, person existed, person doesn't exist anymore. And it's one thing to kill somebody, but to completely destroy their body and get rid of it,
you're leaving nothing. for the family.
Except for the memories they have of pictures and videos.
Right. What was the last movie I saw when they did that? Well, it was I think one that gets me a lot is Fargo, when they killed Steve Buscemi's character and put him through the wood chipper.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
It's
Yeah.
like I don't want to watch that. I mean, and I've watched this all the time because that's just, in my opinion, one of the best movies ever made. But it's ooh, kill him, put him through the wood chipper, or 10 Cloverfield Lane, where he killed the guy and put him in a can of acid, a big barrel of acid.
That would suck.
Yeah.
I would chain him to a cinder block and put him in the middle of the swamp.
Or like from The Sopranos when they take, what was it? Or like from The Sopranos where they took, I forget the guy's name, but they took the guy out in the ocean and they whacked him in the head with the baseball bat and then threw him in the water.
Oh, there was another wood chipper thing. It was I don't remember what it was called. It was a really bad movie about a killer Santa Claus, and he took this one woman and put her through a wood chipper while she was alive, feet first, and it was like, oh, it's like one of the most brutal death scenes I'd ever seen in a movie. I'm just sitting there cringing. There was also
Casino and the Goodfellas was a good show.
Yeah. Ooh.
I remember seeing a scene from like a movie where they laid the person on the cement and then had a tank run them over from the feet first, like watching all the bones crush and get squished from the feet first.
Casino and Goodfellas. And they got some brutal deaths in those movies.
Yeah, the things they come up with is just crazy.
They talk about
there was very good a movie, and I'm trying to think of what it was called. I think it's I think it starred what's her name, who played Jean Grey in the X-Men movies. Who is that again? Oh, Famke Janssen. 100 Feet. That's what it was called. There was I don't know if you guys saw that, but it's about a woman who killed her husband, I guess, because he was abusing her, and they she was let out of jail, but she was put under house arrest, and the house was haunted by her husband that she killed, who was abusing her. So now she's under house arrest in the house, being haunted by this ghost that wants to kill her. And it's kind of
it sounds like a good movie.
It's a decent movie, but it has one of the extremely brutal death scene where the neighbor comes over and doesn't know about the ghost or anything, and they have sex, and of course the husband gets jealous and mean and just destroys him, just like beats him into the most.
That's karma for you.
Yeah, if you ever want to see a really nasty death scene, the movie's called 100 Feet.
You know, that sounds like that movie, like something from that movie. You remember that movie 13 Ghosts?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You remember that opening scene? Where they're going to get that one ghost? Yeah. Oh.
They were in like the car junkyard or something.
Wasn't that the Jackal?
No, it wasn't.
I don't remember who they were trying to get, but that reminds me of that. I'm talking about, and then it goes like 0 to 100 right after that. I was just like, holy shit. When you said that, the ghost.
Jackal is my favorite. The Jackal.
Yeah, I try to remember. I know he wasn't the first one, but yeah, it was the Juggernaut was the first one, and the first one, or I guess the Juggernaut was the 12th one, the one they were doing in the beginning. But.
Yeah, I mean, because one guy he get like broken in half and then sucked underneath the car thing, and then one guy had like a car thrown on him, and I was.
Yeah, that's pretty intense.
It's one of those movies that got such a negative reception, but I always really loved it. It's one of those. It's one of my what you might call comfort movies that I might just have on in the background during the day.
Oh, that was my favorite movie. I mean, I know a lot of people didn't particularly care for it, but that was actually, I mean, I thought it was a really good movie.
Hey man, I love that movie too. That was an awesome movie.
I loved how was it Dark Castle Entertainment was remaking those movies for a while, like House on Haunted Hill. There was but then they stopped doing that. And I guess started making original movies. But it was House on Haunted Hill. There was
that new one with. Oh yeah, no, that was a good one.
Gothica, Ghost Ship.
Ghost Ship, yeah, I liked Ghost Ship.
Yeah, Ghost Ship was good.
That beginning with that wire and killing everybody, I'm just like,
oh yeah, no, that totally throws you off when you're sitting there watching it and they're all dancing. And it's like 1950s music, and they're just the next thing you know, like what?
All their heads are cut off.
Although I think my favorite part though was when the black man was dancing with the ghost, and then she turned into a corpsey thing. I'm doing pretty good, Super D. Just
pretty
asking. Yeah.
Pretty creepy.
Yeah, didn't she get thrown? Like he got thrown down the elevator shaft.
Yeah, and fell into a pipe.
Yeah.
Obviously it seemed like an homage in a way to The Shining, but
I like The Shining.
The Shining was one of the rare times that The Shining's a weird movie because I do not like Stanley Kubrick. I'm sorry, I don't. I get a lot of shit from people, but I don't.
I saw The Shining, and that was probably like maybe one of the only movies I saw, and I was like, I was kind of like.
Did you guys? Did you ever see Bag of Bones from Stephen
No.
King?
No.
That one was a really good one.
Yeah,
I saw.
Go ahead.
Y'all seen Pet Sematary?
Oh, I love Pet Sematary.
Yeah. I think everybody has that one.
Love the book.
Like
that was one of the times I watched the movie first, then read the book, and the book was still. Hi, Anthony Nolan. I'm a little segue for the hello there, but yeah, the book I read after the movie and loved it.
Well, I remember
what's better, the book or the movie?
I remember.
Movie. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I remember that movie It. Like my buddy, I think I was in fourth grade. My buddy got it out at the library. It was like 1,000 pages to do that because we used to have to do book reports and stuff. And he's like, "Oh yeah, book it." I don't even think he finished the book because he had like a year to do it. But
I think,
but that book was like 1,000 pages if I remember correctly. It was like
about 1,200 pages.
Well, I think it was a TV show.
Yeah, they had that. Now I know as either of you seen both of them, the new one and the old one.
Yeah, I like the new one better.
I think
I'm a fan of the new one.
The thing that gets me is that the big argument I've had with people is that I don't find the clown in the new movie as scary as the original one, and that's because he's not a clown anymore. I mean, the clown in the original movie was Goofy; he was the clown. Now he's just an evil ghost that looks like a clown. He doesn't do the goofy clown stuff. Right.
Well, first one, I mean, the first one scared the shit out of me. Like the old 19 whatever. When I saw that one, when I saw the new one, I was kind of like, eh.
Well, I mean, I'll go ahead and watch the next one too. Just because
it made it more creative.
Yeah, to see the second one, because of course they're going to do the second half, so I'll definitely watch it no matter what. But yeah, Dead Silence, yes, I'm always think I'm one of the few people who really like that movie too.
We like it too.
Is that about the
ventriloquist?
Yeah, I've seen that. That was
Beware the Stare of Mary Shaw.
Yeah,
the theme music is creepy too.
Me and my sister actually got into an argument about that. She's like, it's a stupid movie. I'm like, that's a good fucking movie. Why do you?
I really
like the original Exorcist movie too.
I really liked James Wan for the longest time.
Oh, 007. Dude, I was on a kick there for like the longest time watching all those. And it was like the Sean Connery ones. And then it was like, that's kind of where I started. Like I skipped all the other ones.
Well, go ahead.
I started at like Sean Connery, like, when he was Bond. And then I just kind of went forward after that.
Right.
Like the new ones, like, while they've been all right, I haven't particularly cared for them.
But just to say, as I said, James Wan, W-A-N.
Oh, I thought you said Bond.
No, I understand that, but the director who directed Dead Silence, he directed the first Saw. But I was a big fan of his until he started making the Conjuring movies. And I'm sorry if this is going to upset anybody, but anybody who can go out and take Ed and Lorraine Warren, two of the grimiest charlatans, and try to make them into heroes, and then people believe it. People don't research the Warrens, and they watch the movies and see them and believe the real people were like these characters in the movie, and it drives me freaking crazy. I mean, the Warrens
Didn't the Warrens try to sue them?
No.
Didn't the Warrens try to sue them?
No. The Warrens, Lorraine Warren approved it. She was even a consultant on the movie.
Yeah, because they tried to portray what were the Warrens? They were supposedly they were paranormal experts or some shit like that. I don't.
Yeah. Lorraine Warren claimed to be a psychic, and Ed Warren, even though he's passed away now, Ed Warren claimed to be a quote unquote demonologist who worked for the Catholic Church and was the only layperson the Catholic Church allowed to do exorcisms. However, they asked the Catholic Church if that was true, and it's like, he's never done anything for us. So they've been proven like 20 times to be frauds, but people look at them as heroes. And I have no problem with paranormal investigators as far as, yes, I don't technically believe in ghosts anymore. I used to. I don't get down on people for doing it. I just say I don't. But one thing I do is I try to look at the people who are deliberately trying to pull the wool over your eyes, and I don't like them. So it's like the Warrens, who are taking your beliefs, if you believe in ghosts, and using it to further their careers and make money. I just find it so insulting. So yeah, I just had to get that out. So that's one of the things I stopped watching James Wan movies because of the Conjuring's movies, because it just irritates me so much that they would do that, And there are people out there who think that I'm coming down on all people who believe in ghosts. And it's like, no, I even occasionally will do ghost stories on mine. There are probably plenty of stories that people send me that I've narrated that aren't really true, that aren't paranormal. So I give the people who send me paranormal stories, I give them the same benefit of the doubt I give everybody else. And we'll say the story is true, even if I don't believe in it myself. So
that's why it's allegedly true.
Right. And yes, I've had 3 experiences in my life that people could say I saw ghosts. But I have come around to believing that there are psychological reasons. There's only one that I can't explain, and it's actually been told on several channels. Joey's Nightmares did it. I sent it to somebody else too, and I think I eventually narrated it, where when I was in high school, we had an arena as opposed to a stage for our plays. And I stayed there one night after the play. I was one of the actors and talking to the lighting guy, and we just talked for like 3-4 hours, just chatting. And he told me that the arena was haunted, theater ghost. And I was just prepared for him to scare me. He's like, no. When I was turning on the lights off in the column, I came to the last column, and I saw a man standing across the arena looking at me. So he said, do you want me to redo what we did? So I said, sure. Thinking he's going to go around, turn all the lights off, and, grab me and go, boo, So I'm preparing myself, and he keeps turning off each light. When he turns off the last light, I see this weird blobby beige thing up on the ceiling, kind of move across the ceiling. And I kind of blinked, and I'm like, you're making me see things. And then he described what I saw. Exactly. So that one I can't explain because someone else saw it too. Yeah. The other things I accept could be false memory, or I do have psychological disorder, OCD. When your anxiety is increased to a certain level, you can believe things that just aren't true.
Oh yeah, and possibly see things that aren't there.
Right. So, but doesn't believe. Phantom of Darkness says, I don't believe in ghosts, yet I talk to one every day. Him. I don't talk to you every day, and as I said, you're not a ghost. You're a fairy princess.
He's a fairy princess.
Fairy princess.
Does he wear does he wear a tutu and everything too, and like dress up like Cinderella?
I think so.
He lost his slipper.
That's been my theory for quite a while now. No.
Wow, I've really been under for a minute.
I'll just let you know too. Is a fairy princess ghost? I love Phantom of Darkness. He's one of my favorite channels. He's one of my favorite people. Actually, he's the best sport in the world.
I like how he goes along with it.
Right. I have no idea why I started calling him that. No memory of it. I might have been drinking. I don't know. But yeah, so I'm going to probably keep it up forever. If he's 60 years old. If I'm invited to his retirement party, I'll do a speech.
Oh, you're thinking way ahead.
Yeah,
you're taking way down the line. It's like, I remember when he was just a young whippersnapper.
Yeah.
Yep.
Trolling my chats. Trolling my chat, trolling the chat in my stream. See, I'm getting hyper now.
It's like one day he decided to do a narration naked, and then I knew we would become friends.
Hey, I've been trying to convince him to do a naked narration, but he just won't do it.
Oh God.
Oh God. Yeah.
Keep convincing.
I'll keep at it. It's easy to do it too. I mean, he doesn't even have to show up on camera. So
yeah,
lay off the sugar.
Well, at that point, he could just say he was naked.
Yeah. It's not sugar. It's probably caffeine actually. So when I woke up, I had a little tiniest bit of a headache, and I was like, better. It's probably a caffeine thing. So that's probably what it. Phantom of Darkness.
You sure it ain't a hit of cocaine? You just want a little.
Keep your hype for 20 minutes.
I've done some things that probably aren't completely legal, but
I'm gonna pick your brain as soon as this stream ends. I am going to pick the shit out of your brain.
Yeah, we'll join you on that.
And you guys aren't naked now. I'm not. I'm pretty sure Hitchhiker is.
What says I'm not?
Yeah, well, the show's asking. So no, cocaine I've never done. I don't think I've ever done anything that's extreme. So I know you were talking earlier about the smoking pot. I don't have, my lungs hate anything like that. So I can't do it. It's just too painful for me. So
do you have asthma?
No, I'm just a wuss.
Your lungs are healthy.
Yeah, I'm just a wuss. Yeah, I just can't stand the coughing, and I know the coughing has to go along with it.
Oh yeah, so. It gets hard.
No, all you gotta do is just get the edibles. Just do the edibles. Pot brownies.
Oh, good point.
Just don't eat too much of the brownie. Nope. That's the biggest thing. Just do not eat too much of the brownie.
Yeah.
Let's say goodbye to the Magic Conch Shell, who's leaving the stream. Thanks for showing up.
Thank you.
No, the very first thing I had was actually a brownie, and it didn't do anything. And that's when I tried the smoking stuff, and it's like I coughed for like 5 days afterwards, and I just couldn't take it. So it's there wasn't, coughing is bad, but the worst thing, like three days ago, I can't explain it. I got the hiccups like 15 times during the day.
That's crazy.
I get rid of them. Yep. 5 minutes later, they'd be back. Power through it.
Don't scare me.
I can't power through it. I'm a wuss. I'm sorry. It's. I've tried.
Are you a man or are you a mouse?
I'm a cat.
It's a cat.
Well, it wouldn't be good if he was a mouse. Cat in his house.
He's like, I'm a cat.
Oh no. I don't think my cat. I don't think my cats would pose much of a threat for a mouse. Maybe Rukia, who nobody gets to see. She's the Egyptian Mao, but she always hides. She's a good hunter. She's very. She probably do it, but everybody would have to be asleep. Otherwise, she's hiding in a closet. Ichigo's too fat. He'll just sit there and look. I want to get a video of him pouncing because it's so anticlimactic.
You should do that and play it in slow motion.
Well, what he does is he has a good crouch, you know. Yeah. He'll crouch and he'll look like he's about to do a good pounce, and then he'll do this tiny little jump and then walk away. It's so anticlimactic. Althea's pretty old. I think she's got to be about 15, 16 years old. So
wow.
Yeah. So I don't think she could be bothered to put him out. Drusilla might. Drusilla's the black cat. She's my favorite. That's the irony that my sister names her channel after the black cat, and I named mine after the
conversation be moved.
What's that?
No. How did the conversation get moved to weed and brownies?
Yeah, it's very random.
Ichigo and Rukia are named after the Bleach characters. Drusilla is named after the vampire from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Althea, you have to ask Evil Black Cat in the chat. I don't know where that name came from. And then Buffy the dog is named after Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So
Buffy the Dog Slayer.
Yeah. It became a thing because I'm a ferret person. I've had like maybe about 7 ferrets in my life, and I always name my ferrets after Buffy characters. So there was Spike, Xander, Angel, Willow, Faith, Giles. So when she got to, it sort of seems like it overflew into the cats too. So okay,
actually, the ferret.
Go ahead.
The ferret story you sent us for the collab we did, that was kind of like the Pet Cemetery type story.
Oh yeah, that
was a really good story.
I like that one. The ferret that crawled out of his grave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was just crazy.
Had you heard that one, Hitchhiker? The ferret crawls out of the grave story. Someone sent me a story about their pet ferret that they buried, and it was dead, stiff, and they buried it, and it apparently came back. Ew.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it got me too, because my last ferret died about 3-4 years ago. It was just an awful death too. I mean, it took like several days, and when she did, she just kind of like was lying in my lap. She couldn't move. She just sort of like shuddered and was dead. And I was like, it was very traumatic for me. I have not had a ferret since then.
Yeah,
but I buried her in the backyard. I buried her in the backyard. So it's I have one of my stories. If you remember, I don't know if you guys have heard it. When I was a teenager, we had a calico cat that got feline leukemia, and it was awful. It was like the worst suffering I've ever seen an animal go through. So my parents, put it to sleep, and then they were haunted in their minds by it for like days. It was just it was scary for me because I was the only one in the house who wasn't deeply disturbed at that point. So like my stepdad started having waking nightmares that the cat crawled out of his grave to get revenge for putting it down. But it's like that story reminded me of that, which is the reason why I narrated it. But everyone was so freaked out. I had to like be like, guys, the cat's not coming back to life. It's dead. And finally, after about a week, I got sick of it. So I went out and I bought a Cocker Spaniel and be like, love this animal, get your minds off the cat. It was awful, but the thing to look at is that the cat was suffering. I mean, it was just, it would look at you and its eyes, there was nothing there. Its brain was burned out. You could just look at it and see.
There was a pretty traumatic event that we had witnessed with our cat. I don't know if it's suitable for the chat though.
I don't know. I guess it's kind Go ahead. I'm sure we've said worse. If you want to tell, it's up to you.
Yeah, no, it's fine. This was about, I'd say, 10 years ago. And we were going outside. We were with our cousin. And we went outside. We were playing behind like a dentist's office. And all of a sudden, we started hearing people screaming. So we came out. And we saw this huge Rottweiler dog chasing our white cat. And the cat had a heads up on it. And it ran under like this deck. And then the dog ran under the deck with it. The cat ran out. As soon as it was starting to climb a tree, the dog grabbed its tail, whipped it down, and grabbed its back, and ended up breaking its back, and like it was shaking it around. And we ended up grabbing a big stick and hitting the dog with it. So the dog ran off. I think the dog knew like he did what he did. And we just saw our cat laying there. His eyes were starting to turn pale, and you could see like a blood spot on his back where it broke. And it was just breathing really slow and heavy. And we knew it was done at that point.
Right.
There was no saving him.
Where did I come back to? I go to the little girl's room and I come back.
Oh. You come back to us telling about animals dying. Yeah.
Yeah, I had to go to the little girl's room real quick, and I come back, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Sorry about that. Yeah. No, we started talking about that ferret story, the pet cemetery ferret story. And
yeah.
Man, you know, see, I'd like to own a ferret. I've never been able to own a ferret.
Why not?
Just different kind of things, and you know, I mean, I'm getting to I might actually be able to own one where I'm going now. You know, just the lease, and people are like, we don't want that stuff in, you know, the house and all that kind of shit. You know, they stink.
Well, one thing.
Yeah, that's the only thing.
See, I like the smell of ferrets. But then again,
Why do they smell like?
Why they just?
Why do they smell like that though?
Honestly, I don't know. I'm sure my sister is here listening to the stream. She might type something up in the room. She probably knows more about that than I do. She knows a whole lot more about animals. I mean, even though I'm the one who has the ferrets, but if you do get a ferret, you really can't get a ferret. You have to get 2 ferrets, or you have to have other animals that the ferrets can play with, because I have some videos. I'll try to post one of them. I have a couple videos of our last ferret playing with Ichigo. Because
wait, so you gotta have another pet. You gotta have another pet to have with the ferret. So what happens if you just let the ferret be by itself? I mean, it's gonna tear stuff up.
It'll just be bored, or it might, it might get into a lot of stuff. But the ferrets need to. They have most animals don't. If I understand this correctly, remember I'm not an animal psychologist, but most animals don't actually have the structure of the brain that allows them to be bored. Ferrets do for some reason, so ferrets can get bored. So it's important to have. It's. You know, I'm a cognitive psychologist. This is what I do, but I'm not coming up with the information that I need. But so they say that the ferrets need to have something to play around with, or they'll just get depressed. And what they said about my ferret is that ferrets.
Don't tell me you're gonna have a suicidal ferret come back and see my ferret hanging from it.
I don't know if this is true, but I've heard that ferrets can lose their will to live and they get a little bit sick. So that's why they can die. I mean, they tend to be really susceptible to getting cancer. Or sorts of things. So if you get a ferret and they have such short lifespans, you have to be prepared that, you know, you're looking at 5-7 years usually. So there's a lot of loss too. So cats are good because at least they, for the most part, live for a very long time.
I haven't had a cat in like a long time, but I think if I had to go get something, it might be a cat. And I can tell you why I would probably go get a cat. Because you really don't have to do shit with the cat.
Cats are awesome.
What do you think has more... Actually, go ahead.
No, what I was going to say is, like with a cat, like, oh, hey, cat, you hungry? And just kind of look at you, no, fuck you, dude. And I'm sitting here chilling, you know.
Like, I'll eat when I want.
I'll eat what I want. A dog, you know, you got to walk the dog, you got to feed the dog, you got to take the dog outside. The cat,
they require so much attention.
Dogs are big babies.
What do you think has more emotion though? A ferret, a dog, or a cat?
Probably a ferret.
Because we're talking about the certain parts of the brain with animals. What animal feels the most emotion? Do you
Probably
think?
a ferret.
'Cause I know dogs can feel sad, happy, angry.
You know, I wouldn't know. I mean, I seem to, at least in my experience being around them, it seems like dogs probably have the widest range of emotions.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really bad about that because again, it's my experiences with the human brain. So, but from personal experience, dogs seem to have the widest range of emotions. But I really don't know. Cats a lot of time. Cats seem so aloof all the time. You know.
Yeah, they kind of do their own thing.
Kind of like you tell a cat to do something, it kind of just looks at you like, huh.
Like, except for you do it.
Except for Drusilla. Drusilla, if you call her name, not as Drusilla, but if you call her name as Drew, if she's somewhere else in the house, you yell Drew, and she'll answer to her name. She'll come into the room.
Really? So you don't have to go do that like tweet thing?
No, all you have to do is yell Drew. Yep. See, she just perked up and looked at me. All the other cats.
That's a smart cat.
Yep. She tries to be sneaky too because I think it's because if she wants something, like say I have my desk in front of my chair, say if I have food on it and she wants it, she'll get up in my lap and she'll just kind of lie there and she'll slowly. I mean, she may if I've had the food there for half an hour, over a period of time she'll inch closer and closer and closer, then start putting her paw out like really small, like pretend like as she goes really slow, I won't be able to notice it. Then at the last second I move it.
But see.
So yeah, she's pretty smart, but it's it can sometimes be a little irritating.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta completely going off subject here. It's like,
oh, it's fine.
Kat, have you ever considered growing a brawny man beard?
Oh, like a Wyatt family beard?
No, just like a brawny man beard, like you know the brawny.
No.
Or would that mess you up, like with your therapy sessions?
No, I haven't actually shaved in probably like 3 or 4 years. When I what I do is I just use hair clippers, so I always have a 5 o'clock shadow. I like having that, but anything longer than that just annoys me. And I always I remember when I was 18, I tried growing a goatee for a while. I can't stop fiddling with it. You know, I'm always like feeling my face all the time. So don't get me wrong. There'll be some times where I get lazy, and I might not use the clippers for a couple weeks. But I try to avoid that as much as possible. I would, other than the shadow, I would never really go for that.
I don't know. I mean, because I've seen a picture of you, and I'm like, I think you could rock a beard. Like if you really gave it the good old college try, you could.
Huh. Well, maybe I haven't shaved in like a week. Here's what I'll do. I'll go ahead and grow it out a little bit. We'll see what it looks like. So, I mean, I don't have to go anywhere or do any. I don't. Go ahead.
I know. I was just saying, give it a shot. See how you like it.
Shoot for the stars. I mean, you only get one go at it. Why not?
Well, I guarantee you what'll happen. It'll probably start irritating me, and I'll stop. As far as Chester Cat's asking to see the shadow, I'll not at this moment, but I promise I'll do that soon. So it's right now. I don't. I woke up and came right to do this like immediately afterwards. So I didn't have a chance to pretty myself up or anything. So,
yeah.
And yes, I'm a little vain. So, okay, I'm a lot vain. I'm so vain that I know that Carly Simon wrote the song about me many years before I was born. That's how vain I am. So, but It's not. That's not completely true. Not completely false. I'm a little conceited about the way I look, I guess. But hey, it's. I'm not conceited about much else. So I.
Vanity's a mother.
Oh, thanks, Chesser. I think my writing sucks. Although I've actually won awards and I've been published in academic journals. But I've always hated my writing. I play guitar, but I think I'm awful at it. I
play
don't.
You can
Drums.
be the next Kurt Cobain or Jimi Hendrix.
I don't think I'm particularly good at making YouTube videos. So I had to be proud or vain about something. So I just choose.
Yeah.
I just choose looks. So, but no, I personally think. What was it? I recorded. If to add to my complex, my post on, we recorded, a little like podcast reviewing what we think is going to happen.
Yeah.
And the first thing, the guy who owns the forum, who I love, is a great guy. You got to get a new microphone. Your microphones are really low quality. I'm like, really? I thought I had a good microphone. If I sound bad, I do want you guys to tell me, but I'm still going to get a complex about it. What's that?
Yeah, you sound good.
Okay.
You sound good.
That got me really like, what is wrong with it? Can you please tell me? He's just like, bad quality. It's like, no, be specific. Maybe it's something I can change.
It's like maybe something that can save me money.
Yeah, just buy a new one.
Like, hurry, tell me.
I mean, the microphone,
Really quick,
I mean, it wasn't expensive.
Buy the $200 one.
It's audio.
No, that's the thing though. They'll be like, no, they'll send you out there and they'll be like, go get the expensive one.
Right.
Yeah,
Can't we fix it on this end?
But yeah, I mean, I don't hear the bad stuff. I just consider it bad because I'm doing it.
Yeah.
So, and maybe that's the reason I could do. Maybe that's like, maybe I'm a good writer, and maybe the reason I'm a good writer is because I hate my writing. You know.
That's kind of what we think about our writing too.
Yeah. No, you guys are pretty good. I like your. I really, and your imagination. My imagination has been kind of spent. Maybe I'm just used it too much, but no, you guys are good writers. I really like the stories you put out. So definitely,
we think you're a very good writer too.
Oh, thank you.
Everybody thinks you're a very good writer. Never think too much of yourself, or think that you're not good enough, or that you're losing your mojo, because you are very good.
Well, thank you.
You'll stay good.
I appreciate that.
You're a very unique writer as well. That's
Thank
why
you.
you made it to where you are too.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. Just speaking the truth. Honesty goes a long way.
Am I supposed to? I'm supposed to. Oh crap! I think I'm supposed to send somebody some stories.
Oh no!
I don't know why it just popped in my head because I sent you some. Oh crap! I'll have to check that out right after the stream. So we got about 5 more minutes left. But
yeah.
So if anybody has any questions, I appreciate the compliments, and I said I believe you guys are gonna get pretty popular. I honestly do believe that. So
Thank you.
Yeah, just work it. All you gotta do is just keep grinding. You'll be all right.
And the consistency seems to be the biggest thing. Like that's why when I see a smaller channel that I like and I pay attention to them, and then they get bigger than I am. That's like the greatest thing for me. Some people think, doesn't that annoy you that they get more popular too? It's like, no, I love it because it means
Really?
they work.
That's what people say.
Right. Mortis Media, for example, proud as hell of him, and it's such a good, wonderful friend.
Yeah.
But yeah,
he's a chill dude. I like Mortis.
56 subscribers when I first saw him, and I had like 6,000, and
Oh wow.
But his consistency. But I don't want to like say anything. But the most impressive to me, Swamp Dweller just impresses me to no end because he does all those streams. He reads the stories on the streams. He does so much work.
He's very talented.
It's when he passed me up, I was like rooting for it. I'm like, come on, let's see it. Do it. And it made me happy. Blue Spooky, another one. Although we unfortunately fell out of touch. I haven't talked to him in a while.
Yeah. He's really good too.
Who's my favorite story that I've narrated? Ooh, that's a hard one. I don't know. There was honestly, even though it was a creepypasta, I did a story called Haunted by My Shadow. Which I was able to, which is a guy wakes up in this weird world and he's got this thing talking to him. If no one's listened to my story, I don't want to give the ending away, but it is kind of predictable. But I got to do the voice of the narrator and the voice of the shadow, which I changed, made it a higher sort of mechanical voice. Yeah. And I loved reading it. I was the first person to narrate that creepypasta. I don't know if anybody else has done it since. But that might be my favorite because that was just so fun to do.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
It sounds fun.
Yeah, so that might be my favorite. So thank you, Bruce. I appreciate that. I never see it in myself, but it is nice to hear it. Swamp Dweller just went live, so yeah, he'll probably take everybody. Maybe because we're about to end, so maybe everybody will go over to him. Yeah. But which I encourage because let's read.
Yeah.
You know? Oh no, that's it. Dan is Evil mentioned Let's Read. My favorite.
He's streaming, right?
My favorite story, and if I go over a couple minutes, I got to tell this. My favorite story, and I'm still in contact with the person. Was this guy named Adam, who had a brother named Seth. If you guys are familiar with the story, where they were really close brothers, and Adam kept on getting these Yahoo messages from a guy named Yahoo Stranger #1. Stay away from Seth. Seth is my friend. If you don't, and it's his brother. It's like if you don't stop talking to your brother, I'll kill you or something like that. It's really, really weird. And when he told his brother, this guy is harassing me on Yahoo, telling me not to be friends with you, not to hang out with my own brother. So it's like Seth kind of tussles Adam's hair and he's like, don't worry, I'll take care of it. And then Seth disappears. And Adam looks on his computer and finds out that Seth was actually Yahoo Stranger #1, and he was having arguments with himself on Yahoo Messenger. And to this day, he has not heard from Seth. Me and Adam, we talk maybe about twice a month, and I was hoping that people would hear the story. It was on Let's Read. I narrated on my channel too. It's like hoping that Seth is out there and that he'll get back in contact with, because you can tell Adam loved that brother, and he believes that Seth left because maybe that he thinks his brother has dissociative identity disorder, and that his brother left to protect him from the other identity.
Wait, so how long has he been gone for?
Oh God, it's been like 10 years.
Oh wow.
Shit.
Yeah. So it's
that's a true story.
It is a true story, as far as Adam told me, and I believe him because again we've stayed in contact, and it's still. I mean, honestly, maybe I would like to encourage more people to narrate that story. I wrote the story. Adam told it to me, and I wrote it down. So technically, I own the story. But I would like other people to do it. I would give anybody permission to read the story. I'll send it to you. So maybe more people that narrate it, maybe somebody will eventually know him, and maybe he'll come back. So yeah, I'll send that story around if anybody wants to read it. It's a really heartbreaking story.
Yeah, send it our way.
Okay. But anyhow, looks like we've reached 7 o'clock, so I'm gonna have to go because yeah, I got to moderate a chat room for the NXT event, which is coming on now. So, let me read this by Bruce Wayne here, please. Please, come on, chat moves and I miss. Please pass this that a foster cat's home caught fire and left 30 cats without a home. Contact Chicago Paws for more info. So, if anybody wants to do that,
that's bad.
All right. So anyhow, I do plan on doing this again next week, probably around the same time. So if you guys want to join back in, maybe I'll be more prepared. Maybe I can come up with some topics we can talk about. So if you guys want to come back and do that, I think it'd be great. It's been wonderful talking to you guys.
Yeah, that's cool.
We'll be there.
I've just been out of the loop, so it's kind of like.
Oh, it's really great talking to you. It's been such a long time. So
yeah.
It's been my pleasure talking to the Grimtail brothers and thanking you guys and Hitchhiker, and hope that we could do this again really soon. And I'll make sure to get the stories over. So
awesome.
Thank you guys.
Anytime.
All right. So we'll go ahead and end the chat, and I will talk to everybody later.
Thank you, Kill Orange Cat and Hitchhiker.
All
right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
See you guys later.
Oh, I hope he was going to stick around for a minute because I was going to pick your brain and ask you.